Think of active listening like a video game. To become a leader, you don't just go straight to level 4. You unlock it one level at a time. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 levels of active listening and break it down to you step by step. The goal is for you to speak like a leader where it becomes super automatic on how you're communicating. 2 weeks ago, I was speaking with my client who was going for a VP director role at a big software company. He was brilliant on paper, but he was not getting the results that he wanted. The issue wasn't his answers, it was listening. At first, that insight surprised him, but when we broke down active listening into 4 levels, he quickly understood what he was doing wrong. Everything clicked during his interview. So not only did he become a great communicator, but he also landed the role of a VP. Level 1 is the 1 to 2 word reactors. What that means is that when you're interviewing and you hear certain words, your goal is to just repeat one word. So you're reflecting back the word that you heard. Now, if you're comfortable with that, try to repeat 2 words. So let's bring this to practice. Let's say you are a director of a cybersecurity company and you need to lead Zoom calls. Now you have this Zoom meeting and now it's your turn to speak. You're communicating with all these managers and one manager says, "Am I going to lose my job?" A bad leader would say, "Right," or "Interesting that you say that." That's very passive. A good leader would say, "Lose your job? Is that what I'm hearing?" Can you pick the 1 or 2 words, "lose job," and confirm if that is what you've heard? Is that what I'm hearing? The mistake that most managers make, or team leads that are heading these meetings, is that they feel pressure to give updates. So they're thinking about the problems that they have, the software working and not working, giving the updates, and then all of a sudden, they're not present in the room to actually hear what the managers are saying. The consequence of that is that everybody is speaking their own script. Everybody is sharing their own story, which is isolated. So nobody's actually communicating. When you actually reflect 1 to 2 words back to the group of managers, you are forced to be in the present and you actually hear all the information. And that's when you start communicating. Try it. The next time that you have a meeting, try repeating 1 or 2 words and see how the other person reacts. Do they tighten up? Do they get defensive? Do they relax? Do they smile? And I bet you that they're smiling. Talking about team layoffs is never fun. But if you repeat 1 or 2 words back to the manager, then you will change the energy of the room and you will make the Zoom call more enjoyable. Level 2, the short phrase pivot. Using short phrases is the next step. So once you're comfortable with 1 or 2 words, now you can complete a full sentence, and this is how it is in real practice. Back to the engineer that was interviewing for a VP position. The HR manager asks, "Tell me about your experience creating solutions for AI transformation." A poor communicator would say, "In my previous role, I did XYZ." A strong communicator would say, AI transformation. Let me give you those examples. AI transformation is 1 to 2 words. And if you want to repeat actually the phrase, you would then say, "I'll share my experiences creating solutions for AI transformation." And then you begin with examples instead of rushing into the examples. Also, what that does when you repeat the phrase, it gives your brain extra time to think about your answers. So you're being proactive and active in your communication and direct, rather than reactive or passive. And now you're leading the conversation instead of just catching bullets, as we say. So when you repeat that phrase, it signals to the interviewer that you're paying attention and that you're present. Now the interviewer feels comfortable and begins to trust you more. The one thing that you want in an interview is the person to hear what you have to say and also trust you, because they're more likely able to do something about that interview once it's done. Maybe they would even then recommend you as a candidate to the CEO of the company, and that's ideally what you want. You want people to talk about you after the interview because you were such a strong candidate. Now, I get this a lot from engineers that they feel uncomfortable repeating word for word what the other person has said, especially if they say a phrase like, "What I heard you say was," and then you say the sentence. You could also say the sentence and just say, "Is that correct? Would you like me to share my creative solutions regarding AI transformation? I have a few projects I would like to discuss with you today. But before I do, Am I hearing that question correctly? Is this what you were meant to say? You're confirming the information before responding, and then you could be even more accurate with what you're sharing. You will notice that the person who's receiving the information starts to relax, smile, almost open up their chest, lean back. They may get up from the table, walk to the window. Feel free to follow them and create that intimate space to bond and to have a conversation. That person's able to hear you a little bit better when you're actually speaking. And that's what you want when you're interviewing for a job. Now, level 3 is full phrase reflection. And that may be 1 full phrase, 2 or 3. And that takes a little bit more practice, which is something that we do here on YouTube. This is why you're watching. So the point of repeating multiple phrases is to establish multiple connections and touch points for trust. That's it. It's not for you to show the other person you're smarter than them. It's just to manage the expectations and direct the communication in a way that is very collaborative and leads you to the outcome that you're looking for. Now, this is super important, going back to the director in cybersecurity who heads these Zoom meetings, and he has to speak with multiple managers. So when you have multiple people on a call, this is where repeating multiple phrases is super helpful. So I'll share with you how that looks like. Manager 1, his name is Bobby, and Bobby says, "I'm worried we'll lose our best engineers." You write that phrase down. Manager number 2, his name is John. "My team member is already overwhelmed." Manager 3 is Jane. "We don't know that AI strategy will work." So a good leader would say, "Let me make sure I got everybody's input. Bobby, you said you're worried we'll lose our best engineers. John, you said your team is already overwhelmed. And Jane, you said you don't know what the AI strategy actually is. I just want to make sure that I heard everybody correctly." A bad leader would say, "What I'm hearing is that concerns all about retaining talent, you have a lot of workload, and there's a lack of clarity around AI strategy." Those were words that you used and then you paraphrased. Active listening is not using your terms or paraphrasing. It's repeating exactly those words, phrases, and multiple phrases that are coming from the team. Paraphrasing is not active listening. This comes up a lot in my Zoom calls with my clients. A lot of them will say, "But isn't paraphrasing active listening? Like, can I just summarize what somebody said? I don't have much time. I have 5 minutes to give an update." Well, think of it this way. Imagine that somebody's talking to you for 5 minutes and is rushed and doesn't say one word that came out of your mouth. Would you trust them? Would you feel comfortable? Would you actually listen to them? Probably not, because you're overwhelmed. So the point of being an effective leader is so that you're heard. And the easiest way to be heard is active listening. Now, to help you, and this is what I do myself, I take a piece of paper from my notebook, and during my calls, I just write down words and phrases that stuck out to me. I have ADHD, so I'm super impulsive to react to multiple questions. By writing the phrases down, I slow down my communication. And active listening helps me not be so impulsive. And that's super important, especially if you're dealing with multiple team members and you have a big project with deadlines. It's important to slow down the communication. So the advantage of a pen and paper is slowing down the communication. And that's what effective leaders do. Now, this is the final level, the phrase repeater. I call this the master level. Now, we're at the last level. So once you're comfortable repeating 1 or 2 words, a sentence, a few phrases, now we can get super comfortable repeating multiple phrases, and it feels seamless. So you may not even need a pen and paper, but I still suggest that even at this master level number 4, you still use a pen and paper. So let's put this into practice on how active listening looks like when you're in a group setting with multiple phrases that you have to repeat from multiple people. Going back to the cybersecurity example, manager 1, Bobby, says, "I'm worried we'll lose our best engineers. Should I start looking for a job is my first question, and what do I tell my engineers to calm down?" So there's like 1 or 2 phrases and questions in Bobby's statement. Then your response is, "I understand you're worried we'll lose our best engineers. I heard you say 2 questions. The first is that you're wondering if you start looking for a job, and the second, what to tell your engineers to to calm down. Is that correct? So there's multiple statements just from the first person, Bobby. When each manager has multiple statements, you're going to look at your piece of paper and see that you have 6 different phrases that are coming from 3 different managers. So the master level is able to go through each point without skipping any. Now, going back to the HR hiring manager and how to apply active listening skills at the master level, this is what it looks like. Can you list your projects? What I'm particularly interested in are the specific AI initiatives you were able to apply and how they affected the company's bottom line. There's 2 questions in these phrases. So that is a loaded question, and you might not get each phrase right. So what you can say is the specific AI initiatives I was able to apply and how they affected the company's bottom line were, or you could also say a few examples come to mind from the projects that I was working on, and then begin your answer. So you start with ideally the exact phrase you heard from the interviewer. If that's too stressful, you use 1 or 2 words, because again, mastery, it takes a while. So my clients take about 6 months to develop this skill, and then they could repeat multiple phrases at once, calmly. The point is to be more calm than correct. So now that you have understood all the levels, you understand how you can advance with active listening skills. It's not a skill that you learn overnight. It takes a few months. You will feel more confident and credible as a director, a VP, or somebody who's interviewing for a job. And it's incredibly powerful for your confidence in general. A fun fact: one of my clients who's in the Alice Method program gave me feedback about the active listening experience that he had during his interview for the VP role. Normally, he would feel stressed, under pressure, freeze under pressure, and his nervous system would just go crazy. Well, he told me this, quote, "I just had an out-of-body experience and I could finally feel present and focus on the value instead of worrying about how I sound." And that is amazing. That's the state that you should strive for as a leader, especially if you're leading teams. Active listening allows you to be in the present and that you can lead effectively because it's credibility you're seeking and impact. If you enjoyed this video and learning about active listening in the 4 levels to communicate like a leader, in the next video, we'll talk about active listening skills and how they apply to Zoom calls. We're going to go right into the details. We end each episode with do the best that you can every day.